Also, we're making sound, not recording through the computer by accident.
We're making sound. We're making waves.
Making moves.
Making the world a better place.
Well, we're certainly trying.
That's debatable. I'm drinking again.
Oh, are we recording?
Yes.
All right. Yes, you're drinking again. Christine had a box of wine in her hand and I got here and I was like, oh, I knew that face.
She's back.
Yep.
I'm back, baby.
I drank a milkshake today.
Did you? Look,
yeah.
We're like back to our roots, you know?
Oh, yeah. Back to the basics. Bare bones.
Bare bones basics.
My boss actually bought me.
Bare bones boss basics.
She went to lunch with someone else from work and came back and brought me a milkshake.
That is very sweet. What kind of milkshake?
Chocolate.
From where?
It was called North Shore.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
It does.
Sounds like a wine, actually, doesn't it?
I don't know. It came in a normal red Coke cup. So
it
looked like it was from a pier or something.
Did it taste good?
Oh, it tasted so good. I drank it in like 5 seconds and she was like, what do you mean it's already gone? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you I'm a fucking monster. Whoops.
I inhaled it.
I was like, that was a good shake. And she's like, what do you mean was? And I was like, I mean, it's in the trash.
She's like, I wanted to try it. Nope. Yeah, so my Whole30 is over.
Mm-hmm.
I did it. I'm so happy and proud of myself. You guys, it changed my life. I know that it sounds cliche. Never slept so well. My skin's never been drier. My skin's never been smoother or less dry. I lost 11.5 pounds in 30 days.
Holy shit.
11.5.
Wow.
I lost 4 inches around my waist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you do all these, like, the measurements before just to see?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm really happy. I'm going to keep the diet, but like
the wine.
Add the wine back.
Right. So
yeah.
Buy 4 inches.
But
or hello, 4 more.
Fresh.
Oh.
Inches. Anyway, tell me, why are you drinking this week?
Oh man, why am I drinking?
Oh, there's a bug in my wine. This is
we'll drink it. We know you love gnats. They don't scare you or anything.
I'm sorry, do gnats scare you?
Remember that time I got a fly in my shake and you just told me to suck it up?
I didn't tell you to suck it up. I told you not to kill him.
Did you just lick it out of the cup?
No!
Gross. Whole30 changed you.
Or did it not change me at
all? Why do I drink?
Good thing we're in the studio room and we have 800 wine glasses around us. Can you pass me one of those wine glasses?
Guys, if you've ever looked at our website, our store, and that's why we drink.bigcartel.com.
In case you didn't know that hyperlink.
Shameless plug. We sell wine glasses, but we sell them out of our house, which means at all times Christine has 700 of them literally sitting behind us when we record. So whenever Christine gets a fly in her wine glass, she just grabs another one. Hear them clinking?
Oh yeah, there they are. No, this one has dust in it.
Oh, we'll just pull another one of the... We're
right,
not kidding.
I don't know.
Anyway, I drink...
Oh, he's out.
God damn it,
Guys,
Christine.
it's okay. I got him. He's fine. He's going to live. Oh, no, he's dead.
I can see it on your finger.
You know what it is? It's like one of those funerals at sea where you throw it over.
A Viking funeral?
Yep.
You have to shoot an arrow of fire onto it then.
That's step 2. That's phase 2 of this process.
Okay, guys, this is what's happening. This is why I'm drinking, and it's for a good reason.
Okay, what is it?
I'm drinking because I have a very nice girlfriend who is willing to lose several hours of her life in honor of me.
Oh.
Because we all know I love a good Marvel movie.
You do love a good Marvel movie.
Allison has not seen any Marvel movie that I have not forced her to watch. Mm-hmm. I think maybe she watched 1 or 2 in spurts in her life, but didn't really care about them.
Sure.
Now she's with me and now she has to know everything about everything. She has, on her own, advised that we as a couple watch every single Marvel movie in the correct timeline order before Infinity War comes out. So we have the whole order. If you guys want, I can post it on Facebook so any other Marvel nuts can watch along with us. But we're about 4 movies in now.
You got to do it because otherwise everyone's going to be like, Christine, when is M going to post it?
All right, we've already watched the first Captain America, which is the first one, chronologically so. It was made 3 years after Iron Man, but it is the first one. Because
it was made 3 hours after Iron Man?
Actually, yeah, the movie industry is really booming and it's getting kind of wild now.
You helped make all the props in 3 hours.
Can you imagine? But so we're watching all of them, and tomorrow we are doing a double feature of Iron Man 2 and then Thor 1.
Remember, weren't
Very
you supposed
excited.
to watch Iron Man 2 last night?
Were we? Mm-hmm. Why?
I don't know. You came over and you were mad that you didn't watch it.
That's why we're watching a double feature. I thought you and me, I was like, we weren't going to watch it together.
No, I'm just trying to stir drama in your relationship.
By all means. But
I
no,
hate seeing
we were
you.
supposed to watch Iron Man 2 last night, and then someone that is not me in this relationship of two people got too tired. So now we're doing a double feature.
Okay.
So it's all good now.
Just wanted to stir some things up, you know?
Let's stir things up in your relationship. Are you like still getting married or
Here's the thing.
pregnant?
Oh, no.
No, really, we're not. Don't everyone stop getting in car crashes.
I am going wedding dress shopping this weekend for the first time.
With 3 of your mothers?
With all 3 moms. I got the mom, I got the stepmom, I got the godmom.
Wow.
All the moms are going to be there, and my little sister, and I'm terrified.
Why?
Because
you just lost 11 pounds and 4 inches.
I know, but it's just scary to like walk, and it's just scary.
Well, I'm never gonna wear a dress, so I feel bad for you.
Thanks.
On your own.
Thanks.
Hey, I gotta get a tux though for your wedding and my mother's wedding and my friend Ellen's wedding.
You're going to look sharp.
I certainly hope so, but I've also never had a tux tailored or like.
Oof.
So I don't know what to do.
Just Google it.
All right.
I don't know what to do either. I'm so nervous. Anyway, it's fine. I'll get over it. Speaking of things that make us nervous, wants to stab me. We have some potentially exciting news that I don't want to jinx it, so we're not going to say it, but just maybe you can ascertain what we're trying to say in that.
Just read between the verbal lines of what just might be on the surface of something people have asked for multiple times since the beginning of this podcast.
Yes, there is a horizon, and you need to look at it and understand what it is without.
And I need to go buy anti-anxiety medication.
Yes. Em needs a prescription. I need wine and a new outfit, and potentially stage fright might occur. That's the clues you get.
Stage fright will occur.
Okay, fair.
Will occur.
Will occur.
I mean, if something were to happen that we aren't going to say out loud just yet.
Yeah, knock on wood. So we're in the talks with a very
reputable, helpful
businessman.
A man putting all our eggs in
Thank
one basket.
God it's not a woman. I mean, can you imagine?
They can't work, Christine.
They have to push babies out of their vagina.
Vagina. Oh, man.
Someone tell me where babies come from.
Good one.
Guys.
A vagina. Someone put that on a shirt.
It's fine because it's like English isn't my first language, so I don't really
Why
know.
isn't that on a shirt, actually? What was the thing that you just said downstairs that should have been on a shirt?
I'm so red right now.
Oh, Christine was trying to explain something to me, and she got really dramatic really fast. And she was like, and I want someone to design this and put it on a shirt, please. She said, quote, I don't know if you can tell, but wine makes me exaggerate.
What I said was, this pork one makes me want to kill myself.
I actually, we've gotten a couple emails saying that people were interested in my phrase from like 2 episodes ago.
Oh, what is it?
I said, I'm invested and I'm pissed.
I don't remember that, but I love it.
Me either, but that should also be on a shirt. So artistic people, go crazy. Speaking of artistic people, let's do another shout out for that coloring book because holy shit.
That's on my list.
Oh,
Katie Christensen made us a fucking coloring book.
a good one,
I mean,
too.
not made us one. She made one for everyone.
If you're a patron, and if you wanted to become one, you can find us at patreon.com/ATWWD podcast. Hashtag shameless plug. But
Yes. Don't type that into the URL.
no, don't do that. If you are a patron, you can actually see a reaction video of Christine and I opening up the book for the first time and freaking the
Very
fuck out
exciting.
for 5
You can
minutes.
see all the pages. It's on Amazon. It's called Down the Hatch. Katie Christensen, she actually created the famous My Favorite Murder coloring book, which was like a huge success. And we were like so flattered and honored that she made one for us.
Yeah, we're shocked to the core.
Shocked.
And
it's beautiful, and it's like, and I just love people are posting videos of them coloring it while drinking wine. And
oh yeah, people are posting their pictures left and right of like us soothing them by them coloring
it's like
us.
our voices, and then like haphazardly is all over the page, and I'm like, what's happening?
Some people are listening to us while coloring in Gio's butt curtain, and it's a very interesting time for 2018, I think.
Very, and it's like in my wildest dreams, I could not have foreseen this reality.
Never thought people would around the globe be coloring
My
quotes
dog's
that
butt.
I said.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, thank you guys for all your coloring, and
It's great. We love it. And thank you, Katie, for making that happen. It's on Amazon, guys. Prime, by the way.
you could have it tomorrow in your hands.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Is Tamara home?
Don't do that.
Everyone wants to know what you think about the new movie.
Well, I worked on it. Bling. That was my hair flip.
I have not seen it. And I will never see it. So take it away.
Oh, I will see it. I'm actually seeing it with my roommate, other Christine.
Other Christine is there when I'm not emotionally available for him.
That's true.
Like horror movies.
That's true. Other Christine is there for Marvel movies and horror movies. And I've already told her about Strangers Pray at Night.
No thanks.
I'm very excited because I actually trust it will be a good movie because The Strangers, as I've said and as has become famously known, it's the only scary movie that actually really scared me when I was younger.
Which is so interesting to me.
So the fact that it's because it's like just a senseless act of violence.
Like a home invasion type thing?
Let's not talk about it.
Okay.
I can't handle it. So that is, I know it's going to freak me out, and I haven't been freaked out like that since I saw the first one when I was like 15.
Can we do like a live stream of you watching the video for Patreon?
We could, but that's going to require filming in a movie theater.
I mean, I know. I was just kind of joking, but now I think
I'm thinking about it, and it would be a wonderful idea.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Maybe I can sit in the back row of the movie theater and live tweet while it's happening.
Oh, that could be good. Christine will probably hate you. But...
Yeah, so I can't do that actually.
Also, before I forget, this episode is dedicated to one of our patrons who's been a dedicated patron for 5 months at the $25 level.
Holy moly.
Her name is Liv. Liv L.
Love it.
I
live it.
I live it a lot.
I
live it a lot. It sounds like she is like a magazine.
Oh.
Liv L.
Yeah, actually, that's right.
Thanks.
I just decided.
She is a magazine and she donates to us.
Yes, a magazine donates.
Thank you, Liv.
I was thinking of Liv like Liv Tyler, who was in the first Strangers who died.
Wait, Liv Tyler died?
Yeah, she was my character.
Oh, but not the actress.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was really concerned.
I'm not just going to like throw that rumor around.
I thought she died. Liv, are you there? Are you alive? Liv, is Tamara home? Is Liv home? Thank you for supporting us.
People named Tamara have tweeted me and said, I'm home.
They're like, I'm home. Stop
And
asking.
I don't fucking like it.
I love it. It's great. Thank you, Liv.
Thank you, Liv.
That's all I got to say.
Oh. Well, then let's get some fucking mood lighting going.
Oh, well.
It is bright as the sun in here, Christine.
Don't look at me like I'm your PA. And then I get up and do it anyway.
I was like, okay, chop, chop. Also, while Christine's getting the lights, she also built shelves into our studio to hold all of the fan mail that we've gotten over time.
The gifts.
And today I came up here and the shelf is literally ripped out of the wall that got power drilled in. And at first I was like, oh, that's definitely a ghost. And then we saw the screws that Christine used and they were like itty bitty. So it was.
That's what came with it. I don't know.
Well, then we can blame IKEA, I guess.
Yeah, but it literally there were 4 power drilled screws. There wasn't anything that heavy on it. And it got like ripped out of the wall.
Yes.
And then M blamed Walt, our ghost here. And I was like,
now he's going to get fan mail. This is getting confusing. You're not
We're-
supposed to tell him the name of the ghost that lives here.
We already told them, remember? We said Walt McNeil, but then we found out his name's Walt McNeil.
And how do we know that?
Because we played Ouija board again.
I hate myself. I've made such a devout promise to past me that I never would, and now you've gotten me to do it twice. And both times it was like long, excessive conversations. And I know it was a real conversation too, because Christine was intentionally hiding information from me about things that she's experienced in the house alone, and then asked questions to see if the right answers.
That was weird. I was like, what do you do sometimes? What do you say sometimes when I'm home? That was weird.
I had no idea, and it's spelled Gio's name.
Which is what sometimes I hear when I'm home. I hear somebody say Gio, and I think Blaze and Alexander are calling him, and nobody's home. And it spelled that out, and I was like, oh my God.
And then he said that he has a dog named Gabe, who is his best friend, and Gabe and Gio have apparently played with each other before. That's the creepy part, too.
That was wild.
He also said he's a vagabond.
Yeah, we were like, what do you do for a living? And it was like, vagabond.
And then we were like, why do you live in this house? And he literally said, why not? And that was kind of jolting to me.
That was quite a sass, actually.
He's like, why not? Oh, a couple times he did sass us. He just stopped spelling things and would just go to yes or no if we were talking over him.
Sometimes he would literally go, stop. And we'd be like, sorry.
He did talk, of all the things, you know, if you were to pass away today and someone offered a Ouija board to talk to you, what would be the one thing you would say or like make sure people knew about you? And he spelt out on his own that he used to eat a lot of beans. And it's like, well, yeah, you were a vagabond.
He said beans and gin.
Yeah. Oh, this is a funny fucking ghost, guys, because every time we said, what's your favorite food? He spelled gin.
He wrote gin.
And then we were like, what's your other favorite food? And I think he spelled like whiskey or something.
He said like liquor or something. We were like, that, okay, we'll just take that for what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that was funny. Anyway, so Walt, Em blamed Walt, and I was like, Walt wouldn't tear our furniture out of the walls.
Yeah, he would just be drinking gin.
I think that's my fault that the furniture fell out of the wall.
Although he did say he knows a lot about Christine, which was pretty terrifying.
That was weird. We said, what do you know about Christine?
He said a lot.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you said, is there anything I said, is there anything you know about me? And he said, a lot. And I was like, fuck.
He also died, he drowned somehow, but I think he was implying that he got drunk and ended up in water and couldn't like get out.
Maybe.
But he definitely said that he, like, we asked how he died and it spelt out lots of water.
That was creepy too.
That was creepy.
It's creepy because we didn't know what it was saying, and then you piece the letters together and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But he did say he likes everyone in this house, so that's nice.
That was positive. And then he also seemed very happy, and he said he doesn't like listen to us record the podcast.
Oh yeah, we said, do you listen to the podcast? And he said no. And then we were like, and then we said like, oh, and then without asking, he wrote how.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, oh yeah, he's
You
like
said-
a vagabond from the 1800s. Of course he doesn't fucking know what a podcast
Yeah,
is.
we said, do you listen to podcasts? He said no, and we said, why not? And he said, how? And we were like, oh,
Fair.
Good
It's like,
point.
okay, fair.
Good point. That was rude of us to assume. But then I love how we were like, so why are you? Did you live here? No. Why are you here? Why not? I was like, whoa, sorry. Anyway, so that was interesting.
But he also traveled a lot because I know there's someone out there that's now like Ancestry.coming this right now.
You gotta.
But so he's not actually from here. He was born in Alabama.
Yeah.
And then he spent some time in Georgia, but
Yeah.
he would come out here seasonally to make yolks, like
Is that a thing? Yeah. Like
for like bulls and ox and cows or something like that.
I mean, guys,
But
this sounds so crazy, but like we got all of this information and like just sitting there asking random questions.
He said the best place he ever went was Georgia. He said he loved Georgia.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
I think he lived and died in Alabama.
Yeah, he said he was born in Alabama.
Anyway.
And he said there was a lake there, and I think that's where he died.
Yeah, he said he died.
a
Well,
lake.
the first time we ever talked to him, he said lots of water. And then the second time we asked him again, like, how did you die? And he just spelled lake. And then we said,
Oh, yeah.
which lake? And he's basically just wrote lake again. Like he didn't know.
Yeah, he just said
And I'm
lake.
sure it's not the same lake today as it was back then. Because he died in like, what, 1937 or
Yeah, it was
something?
a while ago.
And he doesn't know he also doesn't know when he was born.
Oh, yeah.
We asked like, how old are you? And he just kind of gave a guesstimate of like 35
It
or
was
something.
like a range, sort of. Yeah.
And we were like, what year were you born? And he like, it didn't go anywhere. We were like, do you not know? And he said no.
Yeah, that was wild.
So
So it sounds like Em had a good time, but that's just me. Anyway, Walt seems like a great guy, and I'm really happy to have him around because it seems like he likes to be here.
until he rips out our shelves.
He didn't do that.
He didn't do it. Hopefully he's just drinking gin in the corner, not listening to our podcast.
I assumed, if I were a ghost, that's what I would be doing.
Okay, but hopefully Gabe is like chilling with G right now.
Remember that? Remember that time you saw a dog?
Yeah, but that was in the other apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God. Oh my God. Can you imagine if I saw
Well,
Gabe?
now I just got like the chills. What if he was there too? No.
Oh,
You don't think so,
don't
right?
do this. I don't want to think about it.
Okay,
actually.
let's just move on. Hey, I have a question.
Oh, what?
What do you do with all your photos?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you.
It's crazy because we have so many of photos of Gio.
Well, that is just the truth. I guess my answer is I put them on Instagram right now, but I sure would like to save a couple and maybe mount them to a fireplace like you have yours.
Yeah, I did that. I did do that. Yeah, we all have years of photos on our phone, at least I do, and our photos take up a ton of storage. Not that I blame you, Gio, but you are very photogenic. Mm-hmm. But we all have our favorites, and they're pretty much always of Gio.
That's true.
And for those favorite photos, you guys should check out Canvas People.
I do like a good Canvas people. They print your favorite photos on Canvas for really unique, beautiful prints. And every time I walk into the door, the first thing I see is your canvas people of you and Geo.
Look to the right.
It's also to my right currently.
There it is. It's beautiful.
And it's glory.
It's great for decor. The prints honestly are like pieces of art. With canvas people, you get your favorite memories printed and you can cherish them. They're beautiful prints. They look great on any wall, above any fireplace, any part of your home.
And with us, you actually get a special code where you can get an 11 by 14 canvas people print for free.
Free.
That is a $69.99 value, guys. And all you have to do is pay the shipping and handling. That's it. Shipping and handling, $69.99 free.
Crazy.
You can get your own 11 by 14 Canvas People print for free if you just visit canvaspeople.com, upload your photo, and enter the special code DRINK. It's a limited time offer for today's listeners. So if you go to canvaspeople.com and use today's code DRINK, you can get your free 11 by 14 print.
You guys do it. You won't regret it.
So this is a...
That was quick.
This is a story from the number one place that if we were to ever visit, not to do a live show or anything like that, but just like and That's Why We Drink team, if we could go anywhere.
Oh, gosh.
Dream place, Salem.
Alcatraz. Oh, Salem.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean.
I would. Yes.
Okay, so this is in Salem.
I still haven't been. Did you know that? When we lived in Boston, I never went.
I went and it was truly the best day of my life.
I remember when you went and I was just like, I wish Em and I were friends so I could go too.
I remember telling you about Salem and I was like, I don't know if I would ever even go with
I would never go with this weird fucking girl.
Well, I was like, I didn't know if you were, because I was talking about like witch stuff and because my stepmom's Wiccan, so I went to a bunch of stores.
I
and
remember
I was talking about ghost
asking you
stuff.
8,000 questions and you were like, I remember you saying.
I thought you were humoring me, so I was like, I don't know if you would want to go with me.
You went, do you really want to know this? And I was like, because I was asking about like your ghost hunting and your grandpa and your grandma, and I was like asking a million questions, and then you were like, do you really like care? And I was like, tell me the world. In my head I just remember being like, I don't think we would go together because I think I would like freak you out with how excited I was. And now what a world has changed. Now I'm like, when do we fucking go? Now we freak the world out with how excited we are.
Okay, so anyway, this is Salem, Massachusetts.
Fuck yes.
And it is the Joshua Ward house. Oh. Someone out there now is screaming in excitement. And that person is probably in Salem.
Oh my God, I hear them, I think.
I think I do. Guys, stop yelling.
Deborah, can you quit? You have a really nasally high-pitched scream.
I hope a man was screaming.
A man named Deborah.
Okay, so Joshua Ward House is a very well-known haunted house in Salem. It's in the Townhouse Square, which is like basically like the hub of Salem, which I've been to.
Does it look very like old school?
Yes, it looks exactly like you want it to. It looks exactly like you want it to.
Let's do a live show there.
Guys, anyone in Salem, make that happen.
Anyone in Boston area?
I would kill to just do a whole tour in Boston.
Can we just go there for a while?
Actually, let's move back.
Okay, bye.
Okay, but only for a little bit.
Okay. Only for a tour and then we'll be back. When it gets cold again, I'm coming back.
Yeah, we'll be there for the summers and come here for the winters. Mm-hmm. I can get into that.
Salem will be our vacation home.
I would kill to be a person that could vacay in Salem.
We will be that. That will be our new goal.
Okay.
Vision board.
Vision boarding it, everyone.
Salem Beach House.
Stop it. Don't you do that to me. Okay. This house, Joshua Ward House, is in Salem in Townhouse Square. It was built in the mid-1780s.
Holy cannoli.
Everything in that area is so old. I love it.
Love it.
It was built for a retired sea captain.
Just like I imagined it would be.
Named Joshua Ward.
Perfect.
It was such a pretty, beautiful, elegant house at that time that even George Washington stayed there while visiting in 1789, which was I don't know, during his presidency.
I just love how back then presidents would just kind of bop around and vacation with people.
Can you imagine if Barack came into this house and was like, I heard you have a great podcast studio. Let's just waltz up there. Michelle and I are going to spend a couple weeks here.
He's like, get out the fine china.
I'd be like, oh my God, I'm there in 5 minutes.
Staying on your air mattress for a few days.
So anyway, God, I thought about it. It was a good time.
What?
In the world where that happens, that was a good time.
Listen, if I could live in that world, I'd be there. Maybe he'll come to our vacation home in Salem.
Yeah. I mean, vision board.
That's the only solution.
So in the late 19th century, this house also became an upscale hotel in honor of Washington being there. It became named the Washington Hotel. Go figure.
Wow.
In the 20th century, a commercial building was built on the yard in front of the house. So like it's now a hotel and now there's a building in front of it, on the front yard. And in the 1970s, a developer decided that they wanted to tear down the actual mansion and build another building there.
Okay.
And I guess that proposal was turned down because they knew that this house was going to somehow be like a historical landmark, or maybe it already was, or Washington said no. I don't know how it worked back then.
Right.
And
Washington said no.
And so that ended up, the original building, the Joshua Ward House, stayed, but the building in front of it that got built on the front yard ended up getting torn down.
Okay.
So that was a whole lot of money gone for nothing, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
So I think so. So the fun fact, I guess, the building is now a bunch of business offices.
The Joshua Ward building?
Yes.
Oh. And it's really haunted.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine working there?
Oh, no.
I pictured it as like a little real estate office or like a travel agency or something.
It's like a bunch of offices rent out the space, I think. Because there's like a realty company in there. There's like a book printing company and like a book publishing company in there. So on this land, so not the actual house because it was built in the 1780s, but a house used to stand there on the same land before that house was built.
Before that house, okay.
Before the Joshua Ward house was built, there was another house there. Earlier than the mid 1780s.
Wow.
Which, as an American, that's like 4 years. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Really old. What's 4 years?
The country.
Oh, old. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
So on the land, this was also where Sheriff George Corwin had his house in the 1680s, so 100 years before that.
Whoa.
So 1680s was just before the witch hunt.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Moment of silence.
For real.
Okay, so
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
Someone emailed and said that was actually a great reference
Oh, good.
for beginner Wiccans, just saying.
Good to know.
So
if you are a beginner Wiccan, go there.
Wicca-how? No, Wikipedia. I'm sorry.
Wikipedia.
The book, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I trademarked wiccahow.com.
Oh,
Trademark.
Wiccahow.
Copyright.
Wicca. So on this land, so Sheriff George Corwin, his house was here. Also a jail.
Of course it was.
And Sheriff Corwin was nicknamed the Strangler.
Oh, God.
Because he was involved in interrogating the suspected witches and warlocks during the Salem witch trials.
Fuck.
And he was in charge of getting a plea out of them for innocent or guilty. And I'm sure in the 1600s there wasn't a lot of like humane treatment.
Torture rules, right?
Yeah. So
the Strangler just happened to be a fun nickname they threw around, I'm
right,
sure.
he actually just like, schmoozed and boozed with them, but the Strangler.
He had really great verbal abilities. Yep.
He was known to, can you believe it, strangle.
Oh. You don't say.
He executed 19 men and women.
Oh, wait, by strangling? No, or that was just part of his torture thing.
That was just like a
fun thing, and then
like torture du jour.
Sure.
Torture du jour. So Sheriff Corwin, one of his favorite methods was to tie a person's neck to their ankles.
Excuse me.
Until blood came out of their nose.
What?
Until like their eyes bulged and blood came out.
I don't understand. So like it would just tighten it, or it would just
like he was like basically bending them over so their ass is in the air, ass up, neck tied at the ankles. Which, by the way, I can't fucking bend that way.
I can't even touch my own toes.
So I'm sorry, genetics, but
23andMe, you are so wrong.
For my intense athleticism, I can't even like barely look at my own knees.
Me neither.
So, but they would like chain their neck on one end, chain their ankle on the other, and then like get it tighter and tighter. And then
they
like,
would tighten it.
Like gravity would like, since you're upside down, gravity would have blood rushing to your head
Makes me so upset.
until your eyes were bulging and blood was coming out of an orifice.
Oh no.
So I don't know why they called him the Strangler when that was like the choice.
I mean, maybe he just
Method.
liked the chain around the neck.
Maybe. Or maybe he strangled afterwards. Maybe he was like a cat with a mouse and just like to like fucking torture it first.
Or maybe he like strangled them to get them to like admit things, you know?
Maybe. It's all bad.
Either way, he fucking did something with their necks and it's terrible.
It was also another very common way of getting answers out of these suspected witches or warlocks was they would be pressed.
No, I don't like that shit. I don't like that medieval torture shit.
So we'll talk about that in a second.
Fabulous.
I will say that Sheriff George Corwin, I mean, it's 2018 and he was around the 1680s, so like he's dead. But
shit.
He didn't last as long as we thought. But no,
He
R.I.P.
and Liv Tyler, apparently.
But so when he was buried, he actually had to be buried in his own basement because his family was afraid that his body would get dismembered by a pissed off crowd for the shit that he did.
Whoa, so they were like, we gotta hide this body
In his own house.
so it doesn't get, whatchamacallit?
Mangled.
Yeah, whatever.
So apparently his grave has been moved to Broad Street Cemetery, although there's rumors that he's still buried under the ground of the Joshua Ward house.
Oh, so they think they just like
Built on top of the house after it got demolished.
and pretended they moved the grave?
Yeah,
Or
some
it
people
just might be a rumor.
I mean, it's just like one of two things happened, and I don't know which one. All right, so that is the end of the history.
Okay.
There are 3 ghosts. 2 of them are alleged witches and or warlocks that probably perished in this house because this is where he also did a lot of his torturing because he could
Right.
since it was next to the jail, he could bring people into his house and
How
make like a little
fucked up.
torture dungeon. It was really fucked up.
Sounds like a Criminal Minds episode. Mm-hmm. So wait, but he lived there before the Joshua, like really a long time ago.
Yeah, in the 1680s, and the house was
Wow.
built in the 1780s.
Okay, so this is like pre-Joshua Ward.
Yes.
Okay.
But now the Joshua Ward house is what sits on top of this land that's now all tainted with ghosts.
So now it's still haunted. Okay.
So the first ghost is the entity of a woman in black who has, quote, rather wild hair, which is what everyone has, I think, in the morning.
Girl.
Thought to be one of the victims killed during the trials.
Awful.
And her apparition apparently roams the hallways, and you can hear her shriek in the middle of the night.
Oh, that just gave me like neck chills,
The worst kind.
which are the creepiest.
The, quote, lady in black, she is seen to have a distorted face, long unkept hair, and a tattered old-fashioned black dress.
No.
Former employees, so like people who have worked in this house in the last several hundred years, there's records of multiple former employees saying that they would be sitting alone in this building after hours and they would definitely feel like someone was with them or breathing over their shoulder or staring very intently into their face at whatever they were doing.
Staring into their face.
Which I've felt before many times, and it's not a good feeling.
I was about to say, it makes me think of your story and it gives me a lump in my throat, just the thought.
People that worked there say that they would look into the hallway, like something would catch the corner of their eye, and they would see a shadowy figure glide past, and then they would shake it off as if it was just late and they were tired and were seeing things. And as they would look back towards their book or their computer, she would be right there staring at them.
So it's basically a horror movie.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Many visitors and employees have said that they feel sick as soon as they walk into the building, and they can feel dread and fear.
Wow.
Which I thought like maybe, fear in that they're afraid of the ghost or the ghost wants them to feel afraid of them. But other people are saying that they didn't feel afraid of the ghost. They felt like they could empathically feel the fear of
the ghost fear or
the people before they turned into ghosts.
How
Like
fucked up.
they could feel the last emotions that they felt before they died.
Right. So like when people feel the sadness of an energy of a place, it's like the fear.
Yeah.
Oh, how awful.
So part of this building is now a realty company.
Hey, I called that earlier.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for me.
Brava.
It's the
Do you want to call the rest of the story?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
So I'm feeling like
So one of the pictures that are okay, so they were taking pictures for like a marketing campaign for the realty company, and they were taking pictures of all their employees, and they tried to take a picture of this one girl, and she didn't even show up on the film. Instead, it was entirely blacked out, and there was, quote, the lady in black standing in one of the hallways.
What do you mean it was blacked out? Like,
I'll show you.
what, you have the photo? Oh God.
Google does.
Okay, what did you search?
Joshua Ward House lady in black photo.
Okay, let me see it.
Pretty straightforward. Shit you not.
I'm scared. Holy crap. Holy crap. Do you know what that looks like to me?
A woman in the 80s.
That
Hair. Saved by the Bell.
in a band. It actually, to me, honestly looks like one of those German characters that they tell children is going to chop off your fingers if you don't follow the rules.
She looks.
Actually, can I show you?
And also that was a black and white, but this is a colorized. That was actually the publicity picture.
Christ. That's horrible. I'm going to show you something called Struwwelpeter. Okay?
Okay, you mean the lady in black in the Joshua Ward house?
Yeah, I'm going to show you Struwwelpeter, and you tell me if this does or does not look like... This is a character that my grandparents had all the children's books to.
All the way down to the hair and the fingers. Oh, wow.
And see his nails, so he would murder children.
Fucking Germany. What is wrong with you guys?
So much.
I always used to hear these rumors about Germany being like psychos with their kids.
Here's a picture. What he did was, this is in a children's book, he would cut off your fingers. Do you see that photo? That's like an actual drawing from the book.
I'm also very excited about that little kid's pose. Like, who can balance on one tippy toe like that? Brave.
Someone whose fingers are being chopped off with a garden shear.
I guess you can look any way you want when you're in a lot of pain. But
guys, look up Struwwelpeter, Struwwel, and then Peter. My dad had all the books, and he's like, they're great children's books. And I was like 4. And
Germans are
traumatized.
wackadoo.
I'm like, no wonder y'all have so many issues.
I used to think that Krampus was a myth that, like, I used to hear, like, German parents tell this to their kids, and I was like, no one is that Looney Tunes.
Oh, man.
And then you just show me and then, like, those little elf things that I told one time.
Oh, yeah, but that
I'm
was...
like, what the fuck is going on with Germany?
That was not Germany. That was a different country.
That was Iceland.
That was Iceland. Also, this one is a good story about a hunter with a rabbit, and then the rabbit comes with a gun and shoots the hunter.
Okay, but that is a topical story.
That was actually PETA's children's book.
It was actually a dentist and an elephant or something like that. Dentist and a lion.
Anyway, point being, that ghost literally just brought back horrific child memories.
That's how you know it's scary, when a German is afraid.
When a German is scared from their childhood, that's how you know you're really triggering them.
Okay, so
Google that. Google the fucking witch photo or whatever. That's terrifying.
do a side by side. So that picture was taken.
Yeah, it was.
Then in 1981, or this was actually a little before, I guess. In 1981, Richard Carlson bought it and turned it into a bunch of offices, hence the realty business and a couple other things. But
so the photo was taken like on film though, so it wasn't even like
it was taken like in the 80s.
Wow, okay.
So, but he does claim that not only, like, that picture is the most famous thing that's happened in the house in recent decades. Mm-hmm. But he does say that the burglar alarms would also go off. He said like 200 times in 1 year.
What?
People had to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the building to turn off the alarms. I would just like let people break in at that point.
Disable the fucking alarm.
Like, whatever.
Have whatever you want.
Another odd incident was, I guess, Richard Carlson, the guy that owned the building. He was looking for a form that he was being asked for by a customer, and he couldn't find it. And then the storage closet opened by itself, and the exact document floated out of the storage closet and landed in front of his feet.
Walt, if you could do that for me, that would be great.
Well, if you could do that with $100 bill, you just let me know.
Well, I'm missing a $100 bill, actually. And also, please stop tearing down the shelves and just help me find money.
Oh, maybe he was helping you find money. Maybe he thought it was behind the shelf.
I mean, he's probably just looking for it.
He's like, I've got my gin. What more do you want? So back to that picture. A lot of people do say that they think it's a woman from the witch trials because anyone that sees it does say that she looks like the archetypal image of a witch. Which I know is a stereotype, everyone, but she looks a little stereotypical.
But what do you think they were doing back then? They were stereotyping people and then fucking murdering them.
Okay, valid. She looks like someone that they probably went after, which is not fair.
Right, targeted.
So another thing about this photo that I keep like delaying to keep talking about how she looked and how scary it was. While the realtor was on the phone before taking this picture, his assistant happened to look down the hall and into another open room and saw that woman sitting in a chair and wearing a long gray dress, and then went down to look at her feet, and her feet were not there. You could see like her calves like fading away.
Ew.
And then she went to double take, and the woman was in the middle of fading away.
No.
Like not in a normal like, oh, you saw someone, then you look and now it's gone and that was a ghost. But like saw her in the process of leaving.
So it was like a dial-up internet connection where it was like we're just slowly fading.
Actually, it's just the spirit of AOL.
America Online.
I'm always crazy.
Shut up, Rice Pudding 9. Enough.
So another entity is of Sheriff Corwin himself.
Oh, shit.
So they think that the more violent things that happen in the house are because of him. So trash cans are found overturned. Books are pulled off the shelves in front of people. Rooms are found totally cluttered and messy after they've just been cleaned. Like you could clean it, close the door, open the door, and it's totally messy like you never cleaned it.
That would piss
like
me
an
off.
instant kind of thing. Not...
That would piss me off to no end.
That's a glitch in the Matrix if I ever saw one.
For sure.
Close the door, open the door. It's a totally different state. So there are also cold spots, go figure, and an old man has been seen sitting in a rocking chair by a fireplace. And then when you turn around, him and the rocking chair are gone.
Oh, shit.
So back in the 1980s, people reported feeling choked by an unseen entity. And often during the anniversary of the witch trials, people will feel like they're being attacked or someone's trying to scratch them. Candles are also taken out, like the wax is taken out of the holder and bent into weird shapes.
What?
So there was one situation where an employee had 2 candlesticks on the fireplace in her office. And when she went to go unlock the office, like all the rooms that morning, she noticed that the candlesticks were turned upside down on the mantle.
Oh, God, no. No.
And the candles themselves, the wax, was actually on the floor. It's like the holders, the candle holders are upside down on the mantle. The wax is separated from the holder on the floor, and one was bent into an S shape for sheriff, and the other had been bent into a boomerang shape, and she was the one to close and open, like close the night before and open. So no one should have been in there since then. And we all know the fucking burglar alarm works.
Jesus.
So it's like someone is manipulating the candles.
What's S in boomerang shape?
Like it looked like it was in the shape of an S, and the other was like in the shape of like a...
Oh, but it didn't like
a
stand for
boomerang.
anything.
I don't think. I mean, I'm just assuming the S stood for sheriff.
Or it was just fucking with the wax.
Or it was just fucking with it and it looked like an S.
How creepy, dude.
But so it was just like... The fact... It's not even that the wax was manipulated, but it was literally clean taken off of the holder, and the holders were upside down.
That's giving me like...
And then the wax was in another part of the room.
Just the fact that they're like, oh, and we're not just going to take the wax. We're also going to flip these over so that you know it was done on purpose.
So then the house... So, okay, in Salem, the first paranormal investigative team is known as Spellbound. Love it. So there's an organization called Spellbound, and the Joshua Ward house was the site of one of their first paranormal investigations.
Nice.
So they actually started in that house before they grew and were able to look at other places. And 2 of the investigators were checking out one of the rooms in the house. They separated, and while one was setting up equipment, realized that a lot of time had passed without hearing from the other. So she went to go look for Robert, who was her coworker, and she couldn't find him anywhere, and went down to the basement and found him in a fetal position, and she could see handprints around his neck, and you could tell he was trying to scream, but something was holding his windpipe. So you could tell he had been trying to scream for her, but couldn't. And she could see actual hand dents in his neck, like something was holding him.
Tell me he quit and
Oh, that was his last investigation.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, because like...
But she saw his neck. She saw like the imprint of a hand on his neck. And then after she like shook him and like pulled him away from like that part of the room, she could see immediate bruising that was, what was it? Massive bruising that was consistent to violent strangling. He says that he felt something hit him in the back of the head. And all of a sudden, before he could like scream for her name for help, he started getting choked and he like was about to black out. And then she walked downstairs.
I mean, that's really scary. That's like a level of like...
Oh, yeah.
True crime level. That's not even ghosty.
That's like our stories combined.
Yeah.
So, and neither at the time, because this was their first investigation. And usually what you do as an investigator is you try to go into a house without any information because you don't want to be biased.
Sure.
And so neither of them actually knew that one of his methods of torture was strangling. Like they didn't know his nickname was the Strangler. Nothing.
I mean, they couldn't kill him, right? Like a ghost can't kill him, right?
I don't know. He was blacking out though.
But that's what I mean. Like it couldn't have like...
I don't know. My thought is always like a ghost can't stab you, but if they're able to throw a knife across the room into you, you know what I mean?
So do you think that happens? Like,
I don't think it goes reported because how do you explain that?
Right. Wow. Okay. That really freaks me out.
Maybe in like Area 51.
Okay.
I don't know.
It just happens there. Okay. I can live with that.
So the Spellbound organization, their founder named Molly also had an encounter there where she actually is one of the pioneers in EVPs, electronic voice phenomena. But back in the day when she started, it was all on analog tape, not digital. So it actually made for better quality and like you couldn't edit it because it was analog.
Right.
So what you were getting was the real deal. Like no one had played around with it. And so one time she was alone in the house setting up a recording device and she played back the tape when she got home and underneath it, she could hear a bunch of growling and then like 5 minutes of silence. Like you couldn't even hear like ambient sounds of her walking around, just heard silence. So she thought the tape, something had gone wrong. And immediately as she went to go check the tape, which was probably just like a convenience thing, like interesting how that, I don't know. There was silence. And when she went to go grab the tape, she heard clear as day, "I just want to keep you." Huh? And apparently, like, the voice was distinct, clear, no ambient sounds, no growling, nothing, no background distortion. It was just one of the clearest and most convincing examples of EVP that she's ever found and that has ever been recorded and still exists.
What? Have you heard it?
I haven't. You want to look for it? Maybe later.
If I find it, I'll put
Someone else find it.
I'll put it right here if I find it.
Spooky shit, right? Or not, if we didn't find it. So, okay, so the last spirit, this is the second, because the first one we think was an alleged witch who was a victim on the land.
Right.
And this is the other victim from the land. His name was, I'm going to fuck it up, Giles.
Giles.
Giles?
Yeah. I mean, I know a Giles.
Okay, we're going to call him Giles then. Giles Corey.
Okay.
He was a man that was falsely accused of being a warlock, and he was tortured and killed.
Wow. It's interesting you don't really hear much about that, like the male side of that whole thing.
Well, most of them were women.
Right.
And
I don't think I even realized that there were like men involved too.
Well, one of the fun things about Salem, especially when I went during Halloween, which is the only time you should really go if you want like a Festivus for the rest of us, they have reenactments at every single house of what happened to like the most famous.
Holy crap,
Christine! It is a fucking whirlwind.
Why am I not there right now?
Why? How about this? How about one day, instead of like a bar crawl, we just go to Salem and have everyone do a witch trial crawl with us. Where we go to every reenactment and then have a moment of silence, of course, because we're doing this respectfully.
Right, this is not about, right.
But also we can like then go to stone shops and ghost shops and have a good time. I'm literally, I could be a tour manager with ideas like that. I'm
scream right now. I want to go so badly.
Anyone let me know what the best milkshake in Salem is and I'll lose my fucking mind.
Help us get there.
Help us get to Salem. You can donate to our Patreon at patreon.com/ATWWD podcast.
Tax deductible. Just kidding. It's not.
Just kidding. Okay, so Giles Corey. He was falsely accused for being a warlock and he refused to plead guilty or innocent because he was trying to take advantage of a legal tactic / loophole known as standing mute, where if you refuse to enter a plea, your case cannot continue.
Whoa. So like plead the fifth to the extreme.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so even during his trial, though, like, this is how ignorant these fucking people were. During his trial, the judges had to tie his hands behind him to prevent him from practicing witchcraft in the courtroom. Come on.
They really thought like they could blame. I mean, it's such a bullshit thing. They can blame everything on witchcraft.
They really just thought like, oh, he could blink and we're dead.
Yeah. And or somebody
Like
would,
the only reason he wants to kill you is because you're trying to kill him. If
Yeah.
you were just fucking nice.
like someone would testify on their behalf and they'd be like, oh, it's only because he used witchcraft to make him do it. It's like,
Yeah.
but that doesn't work.
He refused to plead because he thought he would stall his trial that way. And kind of, I mean, it is smart. But
very smart.
His thought was if he stalled the trial long enough, he could wait out the witch hysteria.
Oh God.
He was like, if I just hold on a little longer,
If
maybe this will
only
end.
they'll all be logical by the end.
So, of course, they didn't care what his opinion was and decided just guilty until proven guilty, apparently.
How
So
fucking awful.
he was pressed,
No.
which is where they drag the prisoner out into the middle of nowhere.
Francisca? Sorry, Francisca, stop listening. My little sister, I don't want her to hear that. Okay, go on. If you're under the age of like 18, stop listening.
Okay, tell your sister, just press like the forward 15 button like 5 times.
Okay, go on.
So they would walk you out into the middle of nowhere. They would have you dig your own grave, throw you into the grave, and then they would throw a board on top of you where they began to place very heavy stones on your body until you were slowly crushed, is the thought.
What is wrong with humans?
What's wrong with bad humans? Let's start there. With sick humans.
Sick in the fucking head.
So for a period of days, heavy stones were slammed on top of his body.
What in days?
Days. Because they do it slow enough to torture you.
Oh,
So it's like you just feel like it's like you're always slightly uncomfortable
You
and then it
just
gets worse and worse.
can't breathe like more and more and more.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So for a period of days, they were slamming stones onto the board on top of him. And they kept saying, like, how do you plead? How do you plead? And he wouldn't do anything. But if he started, like, hurting and gasping for breath, his tongue started sticking out of his mouth. And they would smack it with a cane to keep it back in his mouth. Like, if you're not going to say anything, then keep your mouth closed.
What? With a cane?
Yeah, they would, like
What's wrong? What?
whip it. They would, like, whip his tongue.
What the fuck?
So then, because he was going to die a legend, and he knew he was going to die because he wasn't going to do anything. He wasn't
Right.
going to say guilty or innocent. All he would say is add more weight.
Whoa.
And so Corwin was getting really pissed and started finding heavier rocks to throw on him harder and harder. And right before his ribs eventually gave in and he died, Giles screamed, "Damn you, Sheriff Corwin, I curse you and all of Salem."
Whoa.
So whether or
Whoa.
not he was a warlock, he did use his last words to curse him, and it kind of worked.
I don't think you have to be a warlock to
Maybe you just have to
really-
have the energy.
If a vision board fucking works, I think a
A curse.
by murder or
Yeah.
by death torture works too.
So, unexpectedly, very soon after, Corwin died of a heart attack at age 30.
30?
Which, by the way, yeah, this whole time
First
I
of
thought he
all,
was like a fucking 57-year-old man. He's 30
a
years old.
millennial of the
Yeah.
1600s.
He was like still at the age that people made fun of him for not really growing up and still living in his mom's basement.
And like maybe his acne's not fully gone.
And like maybe thinking of starting a podcast.
oh my God, what a loser.
And so he died very unexpectedly.
Wow, that's crazy.
And he did not exhibit any signs of ill health before he
I
died.
guess that proves my point about if ghosts can kill you, you know?
There you go. And so legend has it that Giles not only cursed Corwin, but every Salem sheriff since 1692.
Whoa.
So in the 70s, after Salem Sheriff Cahill was forced to retire, he was forced to retire because he had a stroke. All these, it looks, if you look through the whole line, I would say, I don't want to give an exact number, but a very weird amount of sheriffs in Salem since then all die or become creepily ill
Oh God.
unexpectedly for no reason at young ages.
That is bizarre.
Like a weird amount.
That's bizarre.
So Sheriff Cahill had a stroke, heart attack, and rare blood condition all at the same time.
What?
Out of nowhere, like woke up one day and this was all happening. About 300 years later, in 1978, Robert Cahill, while in office, suffered a rare blood disease, heart attack, and stroke.
In 78, so we're like modern day now.
Yeah, about 300 years later.
Holy.
So it's happening up until now. This was also happening in between that time.
Wow.
But 300 years later, it's still happening.
Okay.
But his was interesting because it was a trifecta. I didn't want to do too many of these, but there was a lot.
Yeah.
So he was forced to retire, and they literally said you have to retire before he kills you, before Giles kills you, because it's still a thing in Salem that if you're a sheriff, look out, you might die for no reason out of nowhere.
You've got to know what you're signing up for.
Yeah, and so when all three of those things happened, they're you have to retire, and they forced him to retire.
Wow.
So Sheriff Cahill, he currently lives in Florida and notes that the sheriff before him contracted a serious blood ailment while in office. He, in turn, had inherited the post from his father. So his father was also sheriff, and he died of a heart attack while serving as sheriff.
Holy.
And the previous sheriff before that suffered heart problems. And so one of the millions of sheriffs, it seems, that's been interviewed about this, has said, as far back as we can trace, and the two men who have followed me have all had an awful lot of trouble. So
a sheriff himself said that.
A sheriff himself said that after having retired, and two other sheriffs had taken his place and had also had heart problems. So Cahill believed that when the sheriff's office was moved from Salem to the new prison in Middleton, it broke the curse in 1991. So ever since 1991, when they moved jails,
wow, okay,
sheriffs are no longer being diagnosed with heart conditions or blood ailments.
Wow, okay.
Since the move in 1991, no sheriffs have been sick or died unexpectedly.
What? So all of a sudden it just stopped.
So literally from 1691 or 1692 to 1991-92, literally 300 years.
So what's even weirder is that it just stopped.
Yeah.
That's
and what's weird is that they had 300 years to move places and no one did.
That's also weird, but I guess people are stubborn.
But anyway, in 1711, this is the last thing I have to say, but just in case anyone was wondering, in 1711, the Massachusetts legislature passed a bill clearing the names of the accused witches, including Giles and his wife Martha.
Fascinating.
And paid restitution for their imprisonment and deaths.
Whoa.
So.
Whoa. I'm glad they at least eventually.
So that's
fessed
the
up
stuff.
to something. I mean, God.
That's the stuff on
Giles'
that.
poor wife, Martha. Poor Martha.
Poor Martha.
Martha. That's so sad. Okay. Wow, that was a doozy. That might have been one of my favorites so far, I gotta tell you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's because Salem is the fucking best.
Salem
is the ghost Canada of America.
Yep, that's what they call it.
That's what they say.
That's what the postcards all say. I am now highly invested in going there.
Well, yeah. It's
very
amazing.
I'm just mad at myself that I lived in Boston for a year and a half and never went.
I'd be mad too.
But I don't know who I would have gone with. We literally weren't friends.
If we were friends, we would have gone every weekend. It was literally just a train ride.
Most definitely.
I just didn't literally just a train ride.
Well, I just remember you going and being like, oh, I wish I was able to go.
Imagine if you just said, hey, do you want to go to Salem again with me? I would have been like, fuck yeah.
I know, but we just wouldn't have even had that conversation, you know?
I know. Maybe then you would have been like, do you listen to podcasts? We could have started this so much longer ago if you just opened your mouth, Christine.
Hey, you were the one who knew about Salem. You should have told me.
I thought you would think I was weird. Things worked out. It's fine.
Let's not get hung up on the details.
The past is the past.
The past is the past.
Que sera, sera. Guys, listen, you know I love a good milkshake.
You gotta love it.
And we all know Christine's got a wedding coming up.
Yeah, I do.
So what the hell am I to do with my milkshake dad body?
What are you to do?
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to go and check out Beachbody on demand. It's
Fuck yeah.
an easy-to-use streaming service that gives you instant access to a wide variety of super effective workouts that you can do from the comfort of your living room 24/7.
Which is just the best deal of all time.
Listen, this is the company behind P90X, Insanity, 21 Day Fix, T25, Brazil Butt Lift? Brazil Butt Lift.
I mean, you can also use that inflection if you want.
Brazil Butt Lift, Payo, Hip Hop Abs, 3-week yoga retreat, and more.
They have the best trainers. You can get motivated by celebrity super trainers like Sean T, my fave, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Shailene Johnson, Tony Horton, and Autumn Calabrese.
There's hundreds of effective workouts for all fitness levels, so we all know I'm starting at level 0, ranging from bodybuilding to weight training to cardio, HIIT to yoga, and even dance workouts. So really, you can do any of it anytime you want.
You can work out on your schedule. Some of the workouts are as short as 10 minutes, and they don't require extra equipment. That is honestly the time it could take you to drive and park at the gym. So you could literally finish your workout in the time that it takes you to even get to the gym.
And you can view on your computer, web-enabled TV, tablet, smartphone, Roku, Apple TV, Chromecast, whatever you want. You can get it wherever you want.
Do whatever you want. You guys join over 1 million people currently on Beachbody on demand.
Listeners of And That's Why We Drink can try for absolutely free.
I know Blaze did Insanity. I've tried some of Sean T's workouts. They're fucking intense. I'm going to try a yoga one starting next week. You know, I just did Whole30.
Ugh, who could forget?
Who could forget? Because I never stop talking about it. Now I'm going to get fit. So come get fit with me.
Shedding for the wedding.
Shedding for the wedding. Sweating for the wedding. Whatever you want to do. We want you to try Beachbody. It's really effective. It's really fun. It's really easy. And right now our listeners can get a special free trial membership when you text DRINK to 303030. That's promo code DRINK to 303030. You'll get full access to the entire platform for free. That's all the workouts, the nutrition information, and support totally free. Again, just text DRINK to 303030. All right.
I'm buckled.
Buckle.
For a real ride.
Now, this is a fun one.
Oh, man. I love a good fun death.
You see the glint in my eye.
I can't wait. Tell me.
So, this is my revenge for the creepypasta you did 2 episodes ago. That really fucked with my head about the Russian sleep experiment.
Yeah.
But now I'm doing a creepypasta that is also a true crime because hell yeah.
Because we can both have our own way.
Because I can do whatever the fuck I want. Just kidding. This has been suggested over and over again, and I searched in our email for this term, and it just came up so many times, and on Twitter, and I was like, okay, people want to hear this, so I don't have a list of everyone. I apologize, but it's a big one. Mm-hmm. Do you have any guesses?
Yeah, but I'm going to be mad if it's the one that I wanted to do.
I know, you probably will be.
Just say it.
It's Slenderman.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm very excited.
But it's fictional. There's nothing.
And it is more true crime for sure.
And there's nothing like actually, like it's very verifiably fiction.
I know. But I do love a good Slenderman story, so hit me with the facts.
It's fun. It's fun times. Here we go. Okay, Slenderman. The Slenderman, a.k.a. Slenderman, one word. So, a lot of this info I got from an article on something called the Daily... Oh, it was the New Yorker has like a crime segment, I guess, called the Daily Intelligencer. And they went deep, like pages and pages of information.
Weird. Okay.
Like they got... like some details that I just could not even find anywhere else.
Nice.
So, a lot of information I got from there. Slenderman. I'm going to start with the legend of Slenderman. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, Slenderman is a creepypasta and is arguably
the most famous,
most notorious creepypasta. And if you guys are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Noodles for a creepypasta is like, okay, this is what Wikipedia, our good friend, tells us is the definition. Mm-hmm. Creepypastas are horror-related legends or images that have been copy and pasted around the internet. These internet entries are often brief, user-generated paranormal stories intended to scare readers. So it's like a fictional horror story that's meant to look like folklore, like look like it's real.
Yeah. It's supposed to use like old pictures and old references and everything. It's supposed to be as authentic as possible for a fake story, so you can't really gauge the difference between real and fake.
And the notion, like the idea is that you suspend your belief. Like it's like a really good horror movie where it doesn't look fake and cheesy. Like you're supposed to, you understand rationally that it's not real, but you're supposed to suspend your belief and play along, sort of.
Yeah, and it's just like if you're really tired, because I like to torture myself.
Like we are always.
Well, I like to torture myself, and when I'm tired, the way I make myself fall asleep is I read really fucked up stories. But so I like weaned myself into that in college when I would read creepypastas to fall asleep, because it's like they logically
can get into your head.
They're
Yeah.
logically not right, but if you're tired enough, like you can kind of get yourself to believe them, and it actually makes you think like, are you really sure this is a creepypasta, or is this like an actual story that got posted on creepypasta
Totally.
to make you think it's not real, but it is?
And the internet's obviously really good for that because people are very talented and can fake photos and articles and
Yeah.
are great writers, and it's just really amazing what people can come up with. So Slenderman was created as a meme, believe it or not, by Eric Knudsen, and his pen name, or whatever you want to call it, screen name, was Rice Pudding 9. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, I was wondering.
It was Victor Surge.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not as cool as rice pudding, but it's fine.
I bet he's always crazy. 444.
You know what? What were you, like, PacSun dude or something?
No, I was a really stupid one. I will preface it with it was one of those like generated ones online.
Oh, come on. You didn't come up with your own?
I tried to, but I was also like 11.
So was everyone.
I don't know. I'm gonna wait for you to drink. Lefty Sponge. Because on the tennis team, I was like, my nickname on the tennis team was Lefty for several years because I was the only left-handed one.
Right.
And my coach like didn't care to know our real names and just knew I was the only lefty, so just called me Lefty. And I was obsessed with SpongeBob, so I typed in Lefty and SpongeBob, and then at the time it would just like generate options for you.
Lefty Sponge.
It came up with Lefty Sponge.
That's brilliant.
I even knew it was lame then, and I was like, whatever, I don't care. I just want to be able to instant message my friends.
I tried to come up with a cool one, and it was pink crayon. And then I was like, it was because I was looking at a pink crayon.
Guys, Deirdre's screen name was literally spelt the right way.
Tell me.
Mountain Dew.
No way.
And so now, like, when you think about it in hindsight, like, Mountain Dew could have, like, bought that from her real quick. Or AIM could have, like, just kicked her off.
Wow.
But it was, like, literally just the soda Mountain Dew. Spelt the right way.
Pretty legit. That means she was an OG
She was.
AIMer.
She sniffed out Instant Messenger before even soda companies did.
Good times.
Imagine knowing something before Coca-Cola. It's amazing.
Wow.
Wow. Good job, Deirdre.
I can't imagine that. Deirdre, you are a champion. So anyway, Slenderman. So Eric Knudsen, a.k.a. Victor Surge, a.k.a. Dr. Pepper, whatever the hell Mountain Dew. I don't know.
He was actually Orbit. You remember that shitty soda? He was.
No.
Oh, that was
Isn't
gross.
that a gum?
Well, yes, but it was also a soda. Maybe his name was like Crystal Pepsi or something.
Remember that gum that not that gum, that candy that was like literal liquid high fructose corn syrup? What was
That's
that?
all of them.
I know, but it was just like gel and you would just like eat it. I used to buy a Blockbuster. I'm trying to remember. God, I sound like the most 90s.
My favorite one, it wasn't baby bottle pop, but it was basically baby bottle pop, but it was paintbrushes, so you feel like you were graffitiing your tongue.
That was the best one.
That one got me
Dip
good.
it and paint your tongue.
And I was only allowed to have it twice in my life, and both times my mother was like, that is too much sugar
I
for you."
think I had it maybe twice too, and it was like a birthday or something.
I also, to this day, love and cannot find the green apple lollipops covered in caramel.
Wait, those are so good.
I
I don't have those anymore?
I could never, the only time I ever had them was in 5th grade. Our math teacher would give them to us during quizzes.
Our P.O. Box is 1920 Hillhurst Avenue.
If you know where to find those. I know they come in like a white packaging with like purple on them or something. I'm like going off of my 10-year-old memory.
Like Brock's or whatever. I think they sell them at CVS. Whatever, I'll look. But also, I remember now, it came in a tube, like a giant tube, like toothpaste, and it was just sugar gel.
Like a syringe or something?
No, it was like a tube, and you would like squeeze out sugar onto your... It was disgusting.
I do remember that, but I also knew back then that was disgusting.
I think in a year, and my friend would like bring it on the bus and like squeeze it onto people's fingers. It was disgusting.
No.
It's so gross. Anyway, okay, so Slenderman.
Anyway, I will say real quick, I did love a good shock tart.
My brother swallowed a shock tart on the bus and ended up in the emergency room. It's fine.
Okay, good.
I did like a good shock tart too, actually. I
did
still
too.
really like a good shock tart.
I think I do as well as a sour apple Big League Chew.
So good.
Nailed it.
My brother's going to use that as an excuse to come back on the show. I just realized.
Gross.
I
Okay,
regret my
move
life.
move on.
So, Victor Surge created Slenderman in 2009 on a comedy website called Something Awful. So, there was a contest being held, and it was basically like, post a photo that's like the creepiest Photoshop or whatever that you can.
For comedy?
Yeah, it was sort of like one of those early like blogs, forum websites
Gotcha.
where everything was kind of covered and people would just go on and like find their niche.
Got it.
And he basically posted this like it was a thread, it was a Photoshop contest, and users were challenged to edit like a normal photograph to appear paranormal. So it's like a fun like contest, right? So he, Victor Surge, added 2 black and white images of groups of children that were real photos, like old-timey black and white photos. And then he added this image of this tall, slender, long-armed man to the images and posted them as part of the contest. It was a man wearing a black suit, and he supplemented the submission of his photos with actual text, supposedly from witnesses. So this is where the creepypasta like
Gotcha.
authenticity comes in. And the text described the abductions of the groups of children in the photos and named the character the Slender Man.
Also, was his face the situation it's in now?
What's the situation?
Like he doesn't have one.
Yeah, he's like faceless.
Okay, that was not mentioned in he's wearing a suit.
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no worries.
I know if he had a face currently.
I have a full description of his full bodily.
Love it.
Persona,
I love bodily things about him.
You got to know about the bodily things if you want to get real.
If you want to get real intimate with the story, you got to know about the bodily.
Gotta
things.
get intimate with the bodily things.
Let's get physical.
If you're under the age of 18, please hit 15 over and over again.
Until the end of the entire series.
Please just hit delete on your podcast app. Okay. So, Slenderman. So, he added this photo of this like tall, creepy, faceless man, basically, into, and Google, I mean, if you Google Slenderman, you find thousands of photos, but the original Slenderman photos.
Do you have it?
Super creepy. I do. Let me just read to you like the caption,
okay,
and then I'll show you the picture.
Cool.
The quote under the first photograph read, quote, "We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. 1983, photographer unknown, presumed dead."
Ugh.
And then the quote under the second photograph read, "One of 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze. Notable for being taken the day on which 14 children vanished, and for what is referred to as the Slender Man, deformities cited as film defects by officials.
Ugh.
Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13th, 1986.
Ugh.
So here are the...
What did you search?
I searched original Slender Man photos.
Okay.
And you're actually going to find a lot because they've just been added to over time. But they are so creepy. Okay, so here's a photograph.
Uh-huh.
And then if you look back here...
Okay. Oh, I see him now.
He's back there behind the playground.
That's a creepy bitch.
So he made it very subtle. So it like is creepy because it's like, wait.
So it's like, look at all the similarities in each of these photos that this weird Slender Man thing is in the background.
Yeah, he's in the background with these like creepy tentacle arms. And then it's like, oh, these children disappeared. News clipping, whatever, you know. And then...
Weird. I mean, that is for sure. Especially, what year was this? 2009?
Yeah. I don't even see him in this one. Maybe you can find
like
him.
A Where's Waldo.
Where's Slender Man?
Well, yeah, is that him in the back?
Is that?
Yeah, because he has no face.
Oh, so that's the head? So creepy.
We just thought a child with no face and 7 feet tall is normal?
Tree or something.
Oh, yeah, a white tree.
I don't know, a birch tree.
Okay, that's fair.
Listen, I don't know, but it's so creepy. And so, of course, now there are just a bajillion like old photographs with creepy Slender Man like photoshopped in, and just so many horrible images. It's honestly so creepy, like the notion that he doesn't
Vomitous.
have a face.
And also, well, I mean, it's such a little thing. I shouldn't even really complain about it. But how did that must be like someone acting in the picture and then they just kind of superimpose him in every picture, right? Because like there are definitely pictures way up close of someone kind of like with their head slipped over to one side. Like that must be a person.
You can definitely create that on Photoshop.
Gross.
If you can draw a person, you can draw a creepy Slender Man figure.
I guess so. I'm not very design oriented.
Point being, it's so fucking creepy. And they're very subtle, the original photos. So it looks like old-timey photos. And then the captions were like, oh, these children disappeared and blah, blah, blah. So when that was posted, it went viral. I want to, like you mentioned, the way he looks. He's depicted as a thin, unnaturally tall man with like 10 feet tall, like really tall, with a featureless head, so like no face, and wearing a black suit. And he is commonly featured stalking, abducting, or traumatizing children.
Yes.
And so this idea went like, this notion of Slender Man went viral. And the story kind of spread across multiple media, including literature, art, a video series that called him the Operator, and now a horror film that comes out August 24th, 2018. Mm-hmm. So guess who wrote the screenplay?
Tell me. You?
Good. Me. No.
What? Who?
Good old Victor Surge himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wrote.
Good for him. He deserves it.
Hell yeah, he got the rights, or the company that bought the rights bought them from him, and he wrote the screenplay, which is just great. Like, good for him. He clearly.
Can you imagine like just joining some forum contest in 2009 and then literally going like creepily viral, and then some true crime shit happening because of it, and like probably feeling really guilty, but then also getting a screenplay out of it.
And then MySpace. I don't know why I just said MySpace.
Grandma.
And then MySpace shows up.
And then MySpace showed up at LiveJournal/Extreme Eyeliner.
Stop saying extreme eyeliner. That's not a real thing. I didn't do that.
Whoever's URL was Extreme Eyeliner, though, is like really getting a lot of hits these days.
Okay. So his creepy tentacle arms, he's abducting children, he's just fucking tall and tilts his head and doesn't have a face. Like, it's just nightmare fuel. Subsequent posters started expanding upon the character of Slender Man. They would add their own visual elements and contributions. They would add like fake newspaper clippings. And so it developed into this whole viral like thing bigger than itself. And he like supported it the whole time too. He was like, this is a cool storytelling medium. Like,
Right.
we need to keep growing this cool horror phenomenon, etc. So he has said, Knudsen, is that how you say that? Knudsen?
Yeah.
Knudsen has said that his intention was to formulate something whose motivations can barely be comprehended and which caused unease and terror in a general population. So that's what... Did you just put socks in your hands? What's that?
They've been on here for a while.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
My hands were cold.
Do you need a blanket?
No, I'm good now. It's too late.
You always say it's too late, like I fucking didn't stop you jumping off a building or something. It's too late.
No, I had lengthy socks on all the way up to my elbows this whole time.
Well, I definitely missed that. Okay. So there's a woman, Professor Shira Chess at the University of Georgia, and she has a book called Folklore, Horror Stories, and the Slender Man, and she studied this phenomenon, basically. And she basically related the phenomenon of Slender Man to ancient folklore about fairies. Mm-hmm. And she said, like fairies, Slender Man is otherworldly with motives that are often difficult to grasp. Like fairies, his appearance is vague and often shifts to reflect what the viewer wants or fears. Mm-hmm. And like fairies, the Slender Man calls the woods and wild places his home and kidnaps children. So it's just like, it basically has this element of like traditional folklore that like draws people in.
Right.
So since it went originally viral. It spawned numerous works of fan art, cosplay, more creepypasta. It basically became bigger than the author and his original story. Is obviously now like a Hollywood film. As I said, he's mostly described as like tall with these creepy tentacle-like arms, and he kind of like has no face. It's really fucking awful. So a lot of scholars have also argued that even though he's fictional and people can say like this is the guy who invented it and it's clearly spawned from this one source, Slenderman represents like a sort of digital folklore.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which is interesting. And then the woman who wrote that book, Professor Chess, she argues that Slenderman exemplifies the similarities between traditional folklore and then the open source of the internet. And that unlike traditional monsters like vampires and werewolves, the fact that Slenderman's mythos can be tracked like to a specific date and time offers like a really powerful insight into how folklore is formed. So they can like literally track how a story becomes like urban legend folklore on the internet. So it's just like really cool that it's all been kind of
first of its kind too.
Yeah, it really is. And there was something they called it, I don't remember the word, but like it referred to like Gutenberg's press. Like someone said Slenderman was the ending of the age of the gap between when the printing press was invented and when the internet took over, because it was like we're creating our own folklore without the need of print material, which is just like so fascinating.
Super cool.
Yeah. And when you did the Russian sleep experiment, you mentioned like the things that make a creepypasta go viral. And so the Chess identified 3 aspects of the Slenderman myth that kind of helped the story grow into what it is. Collectivity, which means it was created by a collective rather than one person. Variability,
because it built upon itself.
Yeah, and it like the best of everybody's like creepy talents and things was able to be combined into one story. Variability, meaning that the story changes depending on the teller, which is like very folklore. And then performance, meaning that the storyteller's narrative changes to reflect the responses of the audience. So it's able to like shift depending on what scares people the most, what like affects people the most. Also, this is off topic, but I learned that the singular of graffiti is graffito.
Oh.
Because there's a picture on Wikipedia and it was like a graffito of Slenderman. And I was like, oh, what?
That makes sense though, because one spaghetti noodle is actually called a spaghetto.
It's just so funny
so
to me.
Like funny how English doesn't even like, it's like, no, we're not going to use that rule.
Because like when would you eat one spaghetto though?
I mean, when you throw it against the wall to see if it's done.
A spaghettio is a different story.
A spaghetto is a dangerous Italian neighborhood. Spaghetto.
Yeah, it's going to avoid that, but you went there.
I did it anyway.
The pun is there. Yeah, so graffito is an individual graffiti.
Got it.
Anyway, so the idea, which I mentioned, is that nearly all users understand that Slenderman is not real, but the idea is that you suspend disbelief in order to become more engrossed because you want it to scare you. Like you want to be a part of the story, which adds a sense of authenticity and blurs the lines between legend and reality. So it's similar to I feel like the Russian sleep experiment, because it's like so creepy and like you get so invested emotionally and like, it just feels real, even though like logically you think maybe it's not real, but you're able to like suspend disbelief. And Knudsen himself has commented that many people, despite understanding that Slenderman was created on the Something Awful forums, still like to entertain the possibility that he might be real, just for fun. And that is my segue into the true crime element of the story.
What I was waiting for this whole time.
Which is called the Slenderman Stabbing.
The Slender Stabbing.
Slender Stabbing. Yikes, guys.
But not by men.
I don't get it.
Not by men.
Why would it be by men?
Slender. I don't know. Slender Stabbing, and then I want to say by. I don't know.
Slender Woman Stabbing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm so confused.
Most of the time we both are, so.
Not by men.
Not by men.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Maybe I'll get it when I edit and I'll feel stupid.
Maybe I still won't.
Okay.
I think I just said words. I think it just came right out.
It was enjoyable, I think, for everyone.
I think everyone but us.
Just, no, everyone
Actually, no one.
Everyone liked it.
Just,
I can tell.
no. I think everyone's taking Advil altogether right now.
Man, this show makes me need painkillers. That's so sad. Okay, so the true crime element of my story takes place in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Okay, 2014. LiveJournal is dead. Picture it.
Up until last week when people found yours.
Okay, I need a sip of wine. Hold on. Don't you miss that? No.
I didn't forget it, that's for sure. It's ingrained into the darkest folds of my mind.
It all came rushing back. Okay, so 2014, Wisconsin. A girl named Morgan Geyser and her best friend... what? This isn't English. Which, again,
Morgan and her best friend is not English?
A girl named Morgan Geyser, Morgan's best friend, Peyton, is not English.
Oh, yeah, you were back to your wine when you were doing your notes, huh?
Here's what happened. I was born to German parents, and my first language was English.
Also, I have been sober for 30 days, so all of a sudden the toxins are just rushing back to be their best selves.
Listen, it's not that I missed it. It's just that it's ingrained in the darkest folds of my brain. I can't get rid of it. Okay, that's M. That's not me, by the way. That's T. That's not wine.
Oh, whatever. How many times? I am not even caught up to you.
I just want to clarify. So, there's a girl named Morgan, and she has a best friend named Peyton. Morgan and Peyton, they'd been best friends since the 4th grade. Both loved cats, dress up, and Harry Potter. They talked on the phone every night. They're like your 12-year-old dream team. And, oh, by the way, they're 12.
Oh, okay. So it is your 12-year-old dream team. Like Lizzie McGuire and Lalaine or whatever her name was.
Lalaine, that was not her name.
That was her real name in real life.
It was? The actors?
Mm-hmm. Her and I share a birthday, by the way.
So her birthday's the day before mine.
Yes.
Aww.
I'm going to assume that Morgan and Peyton's screen names were I'm Always Crazy 444 and Lefty Sponge.
That's precious.
It's the dream team. The 12-year-old dream team.
The 12-year-old dream team. Lefty Sponge. Okay, I can't deal with that, but it's fine. We'll get to it later. I'll address it later with you.
What?
Listen.
I'm ready.
We care about the ingredients in the food we eat, the beauty products we use, so why shouldn't the same be true of our feminine care products?
What do you mean?
So there's this company called Lola. It's a female-founded company, and they offer a line of organic cotton tampons, pads, and liners. And they started the company with a simple and seemingly obvious idea that women shouldn't have to compromise when it comes to feminine care products.
Well, that's just great, I think.
So sensible. They're 100% natural, 100% easy to feel good about. And unlike major brands, they offer complete transparency about their ingredients. Did you know, Em, that the FDA does not require brands to disclose a comprehensive list of ingredients in their feminine care products?
And it's 2018.
Yeah, they don't require it, and so most of them don't do it.
Gross.
It's gross. Major brands use a mix of synthetic ingredients in their products, including rayon and polyester. Their feminine care products may also be treated with harsh chemical cleansing agents, fragrance, and dyes. And then you put that shit up in your business. Not good.
Nope.
No bueno.
No.
Lola products, on the other hand, are 100% organic cotton, and they make your month a little bit easier. Their subscription is fully customizable, so you can choose your mix of products, your perfect mix of absorbency, your number of boxes, and the frequency of delivery. And their subscription is super flexible, so you can change, skip, or cancel at any time. And the best part is, it's founded by women for women.
So, made by the best people for the best people.
Amen.
Interesting.
Now offering pads and liners as well as non-applicator tampons for those looking for an environmentally friendly option. You guys should try Lola. I love it. Never going back. Convenient, easy to use. Don't feel guilty putting crap into my body. And we have a special promo code for you guys. For 40% off your first order, visit mylola.com and enter promo code DRINK40. That's mylola.com. Enter promo code DRINK40 when you subscribe. You will get 40% off your first order, and you will thank me. Right, Em?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Go thank Christine. It'll boost her ego.
Thank you, Duna. A girl named Morgan. a girl named Peyton. BFFs, Harry Potter, cats.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff, the whole shebang. Morgan's 12th birthday party sleepover was coming up. I also had a 12th birthday party sleepover.
Oh, you had a 12th birthday? Lucky. I don't know.
You know what?
We're doing that Office bit again, aren't we? Where I'm Michael Scott and you're the cameraman and you're just like, I'm gonna keep fucking rolling.
I just stare at you until you go, I don't know what's happening, and feel weird. And
But the thing is, I never know and I always feel weird. I just address it outwardly.
it's just fun to stare at you until you outwardly admit that you're like, what the fuck is happening?
I think it all the time. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's kind of how we roll through life. Yeah. Morgan's 12th birthday party sleepover is coming up. She invited Peyton as well as her newer friend, Anissa Wire. So her sleepover rolls around. Morgan, Anissa, and Peyton spend the evening at Skateland. Fun. Before being picked up by their dad. Had your typical sleepover. They goofed around on their laptops. The next morning, they ate donuts and strawberries for breakfast. They played dress up, took photos in goofy outfits. They invented a game where they crushed... This is my favorite part. They invented a game where they crushed granola into silly putty and threw it at the ceiling.
That just sounds like a mess.
Did you know an individual silly putty is called a silly Putto?
Oh!
You need to throw it at the wall to see if it...
If it's six, and then you eat it. Children, try eating silly putty and see
Put
what happens.
granola in it first. That helps.
Yeah.
But apparently they threw granola. This is what I'm saying when I read that New York article, and I'm like, what a weirdly specific thing to include in your article. But okay, I love it. So they put granola in the silly putty, threw it at the ceiling. It got stuck. They got worried. How did we get it down? Sounds like my childhood. Then Morgan asked her mom if they could go outside and play, and they set out for David's Park, which was a small grassy park nearby that had public restrooms. That's about it. It was like a small patch of grass, nothing special. On the way there, Peyton led the way, and Anissa and Morgan lagged behind, and that's when Morgan pulled the left side of her jacket up and showed Anissa the knife she had stolen from the kitchen.
Ah, so she's Looney Tunes.
There it is. To use M's phrase. There it is. When they got to the park, Anissa and Morgan lured Peyton into the bathroom. By the way, Peyton, apparently, her name since childhood was Bella. Mm-hmm. But in the New York article, they called her Bella. In every other article, they called her Peyton, and that's her given name. So I'm not really sure which to use, but I just went with Peyton because that's her given name. Anyway.
Okay.
They lured Peyton into the bathroom and attacked her. Morgan restrained her while Anissa pushed Bella's head against the brick wall. But then Morgan fell apart, started pacing and singing to herself. And Anissa sent Peyton outside to play while she comforted Morgan, petting her like a cat.
After stabbing her.
No. Peyton went outside to play.
Okay.
She sent Peyton away. The one they attacked, she sent away.
Oh.
Morgan.
So Peyton had time to fucking run for her life if she wanted to.
Yeah, so she sent her out and then comforted Morgan, who had brought the knife, and pet her like a cat.
I see. Well, they did like cats, didn't they?
They love cats. They're all about the cats, you know. That comes back to, believe it or not. So, it was Anissa's idea after this, once Morgan had calmed down, to go play hide and seek in the woods.
I'm sorry. Wait. So did they or did they not stab Peyton already? Or they just showed her the knife and
they didn't
lured her
show
into
her
the
the
bathroom?
knife. They didn't show her knife. Sorry. There's a lot happening. So Morgan showed Anissa the knife while
Morgan
Peyton walked ahead.
Uh-huh. I see.
They
lured...
all three went to the park, but Peyton was ahead of them, and Morgan showed Anissa the knife.
Got it.
Then they lured Peyton into the bathroom to attack her, hit her head against a wall, but then Morgan, who was with the knife and
freaked out
and started singing to herself and had a little breakdown. So Anissa, the friend, sent Peyton outside and was like, we'll be right out. And then pet Morgan until she calmed down.
Got it.
And then was like, why don't we go play hide and seek in the woods together and forget all this happened? And you have to remember, yeah, Peyton could have left. But again, she's out in the middle of nowhere with her friends and she's 12.
Yeah.
Maybe she thought it was just a weird game or imaginary,
Or maybe it was an accident that they hit her head or.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? So Anissa was like, why don't we go play hide and seek in the woods? Which, if anyone ever tells you to do that, don't. Yeah.
Okay. Not even you.
Me?
If you tell me to go play hide and seek in the woods with you, I'm still gonna say no.
I mean, that's what I was planning for this weekend, but if you don't want to, it's like fine, whatever.
Oh, I thought you were, putting on a dress for 3 of your moms.
Oh, right. In the woods.
Actually, I think you would rather play hide and seek in the woods.
Rather fucking play hide and seek in a public bathroom at David's Park than put a dress on in front of all 3 of my mothers. But it's fine. It's going to happen. I will be fine. It's fine. Okay. So they headed into the woods. Great start. Morgan took the lead. She later testified, Anissa and I took Peyton into the forest and said that we were going to play hide and seek. Anissa said she couldn't do it and that I had to. What happened was that Morgan counted first. Anissa and Peyton hid. Then Anissa tried to tackle Peyton but couldn't hold her down. And then Morgan handed Anissa the knife while they were struggling, and Anissa handed it back saying she was too squeamish. While they talked, Peyton... Oh, yeah. So she handed her the knife, said, she's like, I'm too squeamish, and handed it back. Then poor Peyton just like laid there and they started discussing it. And Peyton started just like playing in the dirt with flowers because she's like, I don't know what the fuck my friends are like talking about. They were just wrestling me.
With a knife?
Yeah. I don't know. She was just out in the middle of the woods. I don't know.
Maybe she didn't see the knife or
maybe
something.
Not.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And she was 12. I just can't get that out of my head. That's insane. So she's just like, whatever. My friends are being nutsos. And just like, and Morgan's her best friend. So Morgan took the knife back and said, well, I'm not going to do it until you tell me to. Anissa said, I can't do it. You know where all the soft spots are. Ugh. And then Anissa started to walk away. When she had walked about 5 feet, she turned and said, or she stopped and said, Kitty, now. Go ballistic, go crazy, make sure she's down.
Okay, but also Kitty. Are we going to just skip right over that? She's calling someone not named Kitty. Kitty?
Yeah,
like cat? They really do like the cat thing.
No, she thinks she's a cat. Told you it would come back.
So ordering her cat, who's a human, to kill its best friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she said, I won't do it until you tell me to. So
okay, so they're doing some weird role-playing thing here.
Yep. So the friend...
Did they have a crush on each other? Were they dating?
I mean, I don't know. I think they were just chilled. They were literally 12. I don't know.
And cats. Got it.
Yeah, they were not humans. Anissa, as she was walking away, heard Morgan say, don't be afraid. I'm only a little kitty cat.
Ew.
Then she pushed Peyton over and stabbed her 19 times in her arms and legs, but also punctured her stomach, her liver, her pancreas, and barely missed a major artery near her heart. And Morgan later recalled it as, quote, stabby, stab, stab, stab. It didn't feel like anything. It was like air.
Wrong.
And she said, Peyton just screamed, I hate you, I trusted you the whole time.
Oh, no.
So Peyton tried to get up and walk, but she could hardly walk because she had fucking been stabbed 19 times.
Fair.
So Anissa held onto her and helped her walk. They took her deeper into the woods and told her to lie down. Morgan tried to dress Peyton's wounds with a leaf.
Okay.
A leaf. And then they told her they were going to go get help for her and that she should stay put. And then they fled. Mm-hmm. They went to the nearby Walmart and washed up in the bathroom at the Walmart, filled their water bottles with water, and then wandered around town for several hours, crying and singing with each other until the police found them sitting in the grass near an entrance to the interstate. Meanwhile, Peyton had managed to drag herself with her 19 stab wounds to a nearby road where she was discovered by a passing cyclist and taken to the hospital. And before the anesthesia kicked in, she was able to tell police what had happened and who had done it to her. So they, had found the 2 girls by the entrance to the highway. And when they interrogated them, they discovered that Anissa and Morgan had recently discovered the legend of Slenderman on the internet. and had started to believe in his existence so strongly that they believed he was calling on them to kill someone to prove their loyalty to him. And they thought if they murdered someone, they would become his proxies, prove his existence to all the doubters, and prevent him from harming their families. If they did as he said, they would then become his servants and live in a mansion in the forest with him.
Oh, the dream.
It's like all you hope for.
I'd kill you to live in a forest with a slender man.
The Slender Man, yep. Sure.
Ugh, gross. Mm-hmm. So that makes you wonder, huh?
Makes you do something. So when they were pressed by adults, both of them ultimately acknowledged that they knew the difference between fantasy and reality. The problem wasn't that they didn't understand logically that Slender Man wasn't real. Like Anissa told police that day, he does not exist. He's a work of fiction. But Morgan, the more troubled one, had like a stronger attachment to the fantasy and had a really hard time extricating herself. But even she admitted it was probably wrong and said, I honestly don't know why we did this. But at the same time, it seemed like they did truly believe it, because Anissa, when they went and attacked Peyton, so they had brought kind of like a bag of stuff. So they brought some granola bars and water bottles.
Did they put the granola with the silly putty?
I was just thinking that. I don't know. I think it was all stuck to the ceiling, to be honest. But Anissa had brought along some old family photos in her bag. And she told police, we were probably going to be spending the rest of our lives with Slender, and I didn't want to forget my family. Then she started to cry and said, you know how distant family members and friends fade away with time.
Wow, wise words from a 12-year-old.
Who is going to live with Slender Man in the mansion in the woods. She had also left 2 messages on her cell phone that were discovered later, and they were goodbye messages written days before the stabbing. They were sort of like a will, and they bequeathed all her possessions to her parents, and the other one was a goodbye letter, as if it were a suicide. It said, this is my final wish to those who care. Do not grieve my absence, but remember me for who I was. I love and cherish you all and wouldn't do you harm.
All right.
I just don't know.
Me neither.
So as they were wandering around like the Walmart and the town and like crying and singing and didn't know what to do with themselves, Morgan made a terrible confession to Anissa. She told Anissa that she had, quote, kinda sorta made a side deal with Slender, and told her friend that in private telepathic conversations, Morgan promised Slender that if they failed to go through with the murder, then Slender could have his way with their families.
Oh, shit.
So then Anissa fell apart and said, I want to call my mom. I want to go home. You did this. I don't want to be a part of this.
Well, finally, some sense.
Yeah. She's like, I regret that dramatic letter I put in my notes section of my iPhone. Oh, God. So when police looked into Morgan and Anissa's home life, they found some interesting stuff. When they looked at Morgan's household, it seemed like she had gotten her kind of like gothic lifestyle from her parents. One of her father's email usernames was I love evil.
Well, apparently so does your daughter.
And apparently you got that before all the soda companies did, which is
I'm saying.
the most impressive. I love evil, at least according to the Daily Mail. His Instagram handle was deadboy420.
Okay, well, there's that.
There's that. There it is. And he also posted on that feed on Instagram, along with family pictures, brass knuckles tipped with skulls, a skull and crossbones birthday card he'd sent his wife. And then 2 months before the stabbing, he proudly posted a drawing Morgan had made of Slenderman.
So a family man.
You know, supportive.
Doing what he can.
Dad. He posted with the motto, only Mogo, which is what he called her, draws Slenderman in crayon on a napkin when we are out to dinner. I mean, but to be fair, like, her parents really didn't think, like, oh, her obsession with horror movies is going to be, like...
an issue.
Fucking murder,
yeah.
You know? So, I'm not saying, you know, he liked skulls, and so she was
Right.
But it's just interesting to see like the connection of
Like it was so normalized, maybe, or
yeah,
who
or
knows?
just I mean, she clearly had mental health issues of her own, but it's just interesting to see like how the background played into her, how her parents were like
because they were probably so accepting of like
Yes,
being
yeah.
interested in the dark and the sinister and all that, and they just didn't know that
It
there was
would
actually
never-
an issue.
yeah, it would never have occurred to
It
them
was
that,
beyond
like,
an interest.
she was right. Yeah, and I think the mom even said like, I wasn't thrilled with her interest in this, but like she and her friends seemed like so excited and like passionate about it that we just let it be.
I feel like that's me one day with my kids of like, I don't understand it. It's just a bunch of noise, but whatever. I remember liking things my parents didn't
You
like.
sound
So.
like the SpongeBob old lady who doesn't like chocolate or chocolate.
chocolate.
It's just a bunch of noise.
Just a bunch of noise.
That lady in the wheelchair. Oh God, it's awful. You're such a left sponge, old lady.
Shut up. Oh, look at that perfect cup.
Holy crap.
Perfect. To the brim. And that's that on that.
And that's the end of everything. That's the beginning and the end.
The beginning and the end of the beginning of the end.
Alpha Omega.
Yes.
So, when Morgan was talking to police about Slenderman, she told the police, "We got our hopes up. He's everywhere. He's almost."
You mean he's not in the mansion in the forest?
No, he's everywhere.
He's all consuming.
He's
Omnipotent.
He's omnipotent. He's Alpha Omega, and he is
The beginning of the end and the end of the beginning.
You know what? Yes.
I'm with
This
you.
reminds me of second grade religion class. We had to come up with metaphors of what God was.
Oh my. What did you say?
I think mine was Alpha and Omega.
All right. That's what I call my biceps.
Get the hell out of my house. Get out. Okay, so she told police, "We got our hopes up that he was real. He's everywhere." In Morgan's bedroom, they found normal, like 12-year-old girl things. They found Mad Libs. They found like some books, but they also found
Granola putty.
stuck to the ceiling.
A granola putto.
A granola silly putto. And a graffito of Slenderman. Oh, God. They found 50 drawings referring explicitly to Slenderman, scrawled with slogans in all capital letters like "Never Alone" and "He Still Sees You."
Did they have any drawings of Slenderman with a bunch of fucking cats?
Well, no. I don't, maybe. No, because she was a cat.
Oh, right. I
That
forgot
would've-
who was who in this story.
That would have been a self-portrait, I think. But she had a cat that she apparently loved. But apparently she also loved to watch videos of cats murdering small animals.
She also loved Peyton, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah,
Whoops.
right. Yeah, and,
whoops.
who's to say? Anyway, so they found these like creepy drawings of Slender Man, like sketches and doodles, and then it would say like "Never Alone" and "He's Still Watching" or "Still Sees You."
Like Santa.
Like a really, really fucked up Santa. And then a lot of them had the operator symbol, which is a circle covered by an X, which is supposed to either fend off Slender Man or draw him closer to you. It's just like one of those creepy symbolic things that's part of the folklore. They looked through her online presence and they found some like really disturbing posts. On February 20th, 2014, she wrote, "Why did the baby cross the road? Because it was strapped to my bumper."
Oh,
She just had like some really alarming, upsetting content on the internet and in her room. And they found out that she had actually been tormenting Peyton, who was terrified of Slender Man, and would send her links to creepypastas. She would warn her that Slender Man was going to get her while she was sleeping. Like, she traumatized her as part of her newfound obsession with Slender Man. So obviously they were arrested and charged for this attack. It took Peyton was in the hospital for a while, was scarred and gouged like all across her body. In 2017, Anissa pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree homicide. and a jury found her not guilty by mental disease or defect. And then Morgan accepted a plea offer under which she would not go to trial and would be evaluated by psychiatrists who would determine how long she would end up in a mental hospital. And she later pleaded guilty and was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. She was actually diagnosed with schizophrenia, which is really rare for a 12-year-old.
Wow. Okay.
And they said she could not understand the difference between right or wrong due to her mental health. And then experts have also testified another really rare thing, which is that Anissa was suffering from what is known as shared delusional disorder, where she was so influenced by Morgan and the whole Slenderman mythos that she was not able to understand what was real and what was fiction. So she herself didn't have schizophrenia. Yeah. Well, she didn't have schizophrenia, but she didn't have the capacity to understand that Morgan's influence was
not accurate,
not real,
and
right?
Not good.
Right. She later said, "I didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to leave Morgan all by herself out here because I thought it would be cool to prove the skeptics wrong." So she basically was like, well, I thought maybe it was true. And Morgan essentially convinced her that she had to do it. So Morgan was sentenced to 25 years in a mental institution, which is the maximum sentence for the crime she committed. And according to testimony from guards and other people, she's frequently seen in conversation with people who aren't there. She eats her meals on her knees on the floor with her back to the door, and when someone unexpected comes to see her, she'll make claws with her hands like a cat. She treats the ants in her jail cell as pets, and she feeds them off her meal tray and will sometimes take them to the rec room to throw on other kids. She doesn't talk much to anybody else, including the other children. She made a dollhouse with really specific details, including a tiny CD player and CDs and a closet full of clothes. And she obviously can't have scissors, so she ripped them all into really specific little details. She apparently had a falling out with her father while she was in jail, and she ripped him out of every family picture in her cell. And apparently they later found out the fight was about his disrespect for her imaginary friends.
I see.
You know how it goes.
Oh, I know.
So Peyton, she survived. She went back to school about a year and a half later, I believe. Can you imagine being 12 and that's... I mean, no. Obviously, nobody can imagine it. But her mother, she didn't appear in court to make a victim statement, but she wrote a letter. And she wrote that the trauma of the attack has defined our lives and that her daughter still fears for her life on a daily basis. She said for months, Peyton slept with scissors under her pillow for protection, and she still keeps her bedroom windows closed and locked out of fear. And she basically said, she'll never recover from this fully. She's a changed girl, and it's gonna affect her for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I mean, you literally can't ever have a best friend. You can't trust anyone.
Yeah, she said she won't let people close. She won't have friends that are close to her anymore, which is so sad. You're 12. I mean, that's so sad.
Yeah, you're 12 and you have a legitimate reason to be afraid to make friends.
So sad. So Morgan is still kind of unwilling to release Slenderman and admit that Slenderman is not real. She says, "It was weird. I felt no remorse. I still have this idea that it was necessary." And apparently she's still unraveling further. She was talking to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist said, what would you kill if you were, the psychiatrist basically said, if we were to release you, would you hurt somebody? Would you kill? And she said, I think I'd have to if Slenderman asked her to.
Okay, so she's not over it.
So she's still there. Peyton's mother says she'll struggle with the events of the day and the physical and emotional scars for the rest of her life. But is just happy that for now
She's alive. At least.
alive, and that the two girls are, are facing punishment for what they did. But 12 years old, man, and
how old are they now?
um,
What year did that happen?
so they were 12 in 2014.
Okay, so they're 16 now, or about to turn 16.
Oh yeah, that's younger than I thought. Yeah, that's just crazy. I don't know. It's so sad. Yeah, so
Wow.
that's the story of the Slenderman stabbing and the Slenderman creepypasta, and how fascinating, like, it bleeds into real life like that,
Yeah. I'm sure there was an argument. I'm sure it like came up in court at some point of like wanting, like influencing kids that much.
Totally.
Like a creepypasta, like fucking up a kid and like,
Oh yeah.
like, I mean, I bet Victor Surge or whatever his name was, he must have felt so goddamn guilty. He was like, I literally just submitted a picture to a contest and then someone almost fucking died.
There was a lot of debate, like a lot of moral debate.
Like, should there be like parental control or
Guidelines,
rating or
right.
something?
And there were debates about like the morality of creating, horror fiction and things like that. And, in the end, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. It was just something she latched onto, and it's not his fault, like he was creating fiction. And I think hopefully by now kind of the guilt has been assuaged, but like it's still fucking awful. Mm-hmm. So that's the story of Slenderman stabbing.
Oh, good. I don't know how to bounce back from that.
And the other creepy thing is when I searched Slenderman in our email to see like who had suggested it, we had a lot of emails from people who had sleep paralysis and things, where they're like,
Ugh.
a tall, slender man with no face was standing above me. And I'm
Oh my God.
listen, the number of people who said slender man in like out of context of Slender Man, I was like, I don't like the thought of this at all.
No.
Just creepy. It seems to be just like one of those persisting horror themes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, that was a good one.
Woof.
I don't know how to make this pleasant. Should we do a geoscope?
Sure. Let me find a geoscope for y'all. Oh, you took your sock gloves off, I see.
I did. I balled them up. I was getting sweaty.
Okay.
Baby G, so sweet.
Such a sweet baby. Okay, here we go. You know that you have a very fertile imagination, Scorpio, and today's aspects highlight this special quality. You might wish to channel your thoughts into an artistic endeavor like writing or painting.
Baby G.
Let's note that an oil painting of Geo sits above your head.
Who could forget?
You know it's there. Be sure to grab any opportunity to weave a fascinating tale for a child. What a weird thing to say.
I have the mind of a child. Baby G, tell me a story.
Weave Em a story.
Oh, I'll lend you my ears.
God damn it.
He's such a good boy.
Be careful about letting your imagination run away with you when making judgments about people.
Oh my.
He makes a lot of judgments about people, I'll tell you what.
I know, but they're all good when he's thinking about me.
They're most likely on the up and up.
Because he's thinking of me?
Because he's thinking of you.
Baby
and your
G.
childlike imagination.
I love him so much.
That was a good one.
He's such a good boy.
Thanks for listening, guys. That was like, whoa, that took it out of me.
Oh, yeah?
That was just like...
I had to listen to it.
You told a story too, you dumbass.
I know.
Okay.
Now what do we do?
You got to tell the thing because I need to drink my wine.
All right. Well, if you haven't heard it before, here we go. You can find us on... Everyone, try saying it with me. Let's see how well you know it.
Okay.
Oh, you too?
I mean, you said everyone.
Oh, okay. And Baby G. You can find us at Facebook, Twitter. Okay, stop.
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at ATWWD Podcast. You can also find our Patreon at ATWWD Podcast. Please, please, please donate. You don't realize what you're doing.
You're bringing us to Salem.
How big of a contribution you are. You don't get it. I know you don't get it because I didn't get it.
Because you're dumb and you don't understand.
Wow, not from my mouth.
It just sounds like you're saying that.
No, like I remember, I never understood how important donating was until I was on the other end of it. It's just everyone.
It's literally how we create. It's really amazing.
You have no idea how much it helps.
It's
so
like
you
guys are our boss and you're paying us to do it. It's really incredible.
They're rolling our eyes like, oh my God, we get it. Anyway. You can also find us at our website, and that's why we drink.com. You can find our merch store at and that's why we drink.bigcartel.com. We have new merch.
Yeah, we do.
You can find us at our email, and that's where we drink at gmail.com, where you can send in your personal true crime and or paranormal stories. We put out a new listeners episode every first of the month.
Coming up.
We are also going to CrimeCon in May 4th to May 6th in Nashville. If you have not yet used our promo code and would like to, it is ATWWD.
You better do it.
You better do it, and you better see us. And both of our moms have committed to coming.
Linda and Renata will be there.
They have their own fan base. A lot of people have said they're coming just for our moms. And our moms,
Alexander will be there too.
even my own mom has said they're coming. She's coming for you, not me. She's been like, I've heard people would fawn over me, and that's what I'm here for.
I talked to my mom earlier, and I'm like, oh, Em's here. And she's like, well, I'm meeting them soon, and I can't wait. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, so my mom, I don't even know if she's 100% here for me. I think she's just excited to ride the ego train. So
There will be drinking, there will be barring, there will be hugging, and just
probably tears.
show the hell up.
So if you can't make it to that, maybe you can make it to something, I don't know, in either April or May.
A secret thing that's happening that might happen.
But if you were to be in the Los Angeles area around the April and or May
Vicinity, and you want to watch people sweat in public.
And you had maybe $20 or something to your name.
Or something like that.
If you wanted to be around the LA area between April and May, you just could do that.
If you could want maybe to do it, though. Right?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
If anyone, yep.
Just
Maybe do something with that information.
What are you going to do? You're going to do that.
You're going to think about it.
You're going to put it in your brain.
Is there anything else? I don't think so.
I think that's about it.
You can follow our personals at Xteen Schiefer and the M Schultz.
Yeah, you can. And that's it.
That's it.
I think that's it.
That's the whole shebang.
I think that's the shebang and a half.
We're going to have 100 episodes and still don't know how to end these. That's the fun part of this.
Guys, drinking wine is so fun. Why did I ever stop?
And we're back. And
that's
why
we
drink.
clink.